Cop knocks out violent suspect. Kanu says Guyanese weedmen are rebranding. Court frees man accused of Kesha branch murder. And speeding, Guyana's favorite pastime. I am Noriko Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The cops are currently investigating a police encounter that went viral on Facebook today. The short video showed an officer trading blows with a violent suspect in New Amsterdam, and apparently winning the fight. The cop managed to pin the man, who fell to the ground like a bag of rocks after seemingly taking a mean hook to the face from Officer Floyd Mayweather. In response to the video, Acting Police Commissioner Clifton Higgins said the investigation will be done to consider how to mitigate against this type of behavior. He also asked the public to please cooperate with the police in the future. Probably so they won't get punched in the face. Ha! The May-June rainy season is expected to continue into mid-August, and thus far, regions 5, 2, and 9 are the most significantly impacted areas. The government has since launched a multi-agency task force to monitor the flooding, assist flood victims, and mitigate the flood damage by clearing the nation's drains, dredging rivers, and a host of other activities that probably should have been done months ago when things were still dry. The opposition is again accusing the government of stymieing the work of the Public Accounts Committee after all government members of the PAC failed to show up for the scheduled meeting on Monday, forcing a cancellation. The government recently changed the law to require at least 2 members from the government side and 2 from the opposition side, along with the chairman, for a meeting to take place, whether virtually or in person. Well, during the debates, the opposition had argued that government members could stop the work of the PAC at any time by simply not showing up. And according to APNU MP Ganesh Mahipal, that is exactly what took place on Monday. Minutes before the meeting was to take place, the government side had asked to be excused due to the flood situation in Region 9. However, Mahipal pointed out that half of the government members of the PAC are not even ministers or have anything to do with the national flood response, so the absence is setting a bad precedent. According to Kanu, Guyana's weed dealers are rebranding. The recent discovery of Trips Ahoy edibles and To the Moon weed candy has got the police, the Education Ministry, and the FDA on high alert. Kanu head James Singh said that the weed-laced gummies and cookies might have been illegally imported from the United States, and they are supposedly being sold in shops all around the nation. My word, this is a horrifying epidemic to hear of. And it's in communities all over the nation, he says? Someone, please give me a comprehensive list of all these stores, including directions and cost of the products, so I know to never spend $1 with these despicable hawkers of the devil's lettuce. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is a 2017 Toyota Rumi. It comes with Bluetooth, mug rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, back camera, and much more. Buy cars for $3.15 million. All pay as low as $630,000 down, with around $60,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peterborough Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street. And tell me good entry for this sweet deal. Acting Fire Chief Gregory Wickham said the fire at the CID headquarters on May 16th was electrical in origin, while Newsroom further questioned as to whether a faulty electrical outlet or an appliance caused the fire. The fire chief could not say. The damages and losses sustained in the fire were not provided either. Curious indeed. Oh well, I'm sure there's absolutely nothing further to this story. Speaking of ostensibly closed cases that possibly involve the police, taxi driver Matthew Monroe has been freed after the prosecution could not locate key witnesses in the case against him. He was accused of having murdered 22-year-old teacher Kesha Branch in 2017. He pleaded not guilty, and his trial commenced with the testimony of 3 witnesses. However, during today's afternoon session, the prosecutor said that they could not locate their key witnesses. Thus, the court deemed there would not be sufficient evidence to prove the elements of the offense. As such, the jury was directed to return a formal verdict of not guilty against Monroe. The Ministry of Home Affairs has decided to disband the Stray Catchers Unit. Wait, seriously? I didn't even know they were still active. Anyway, Minister Ben ultimately described the unit as unhelpful, I agree, and said that they've received multiple reports of employees actually getting into fights with farmers and even stealing animals from people's yards. Despicable. Stray catching is now the responsibility of the NDCs and community residents, so just be extra cautious on the nation's roads. For the best crotch in Guyana, Wait, that should read, for all size of clutch disc and pressure plates for heavy-duty trucks in Ghana, check out Powered Automotive. Get this and other high-quality truck parts at the lowest prices. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 6970171. Say big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Now for today's oil update. Acorn International, a US-based environmental and social risk management consultancy, has been selected by Exxon to study the potential risk of ExxonMobil's fifth offshore project, Uaru. The previous 4 assessments were conducted by another consultancy, Environmental Resources Management, or ERM. ERM has also conducted the EIA for the Gas to Shore project. The scope of the EIA will be crafted based on the concerns by stakeholders during the ongoing public meetings. So raise questions with them now while you still have a chance. And in other oil-related news, 3 local companies, Professor and Accountant Floyd Haynes, Vitality Consulting, and Elixir Financial and Professional Services, have formed a consortium to conduct an audit of ExxonMobil's US $90 billion cost recovery bill from 2018 to 2020. The US $700,000 contract with the Ministry of Natural Resources is for 4 months, which means that the audit reports could be expected as soon as September. It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, Marine Patrol, K-9 services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? Just how small-minded people can be, especially when it comes to serious issues. Another driver has launched their vehicle off of the New Eccles Road and into a trench. And instead of seeing this as a problem, most Guyanese are satisfied with just laughing it off and saying that the people need to stop speeding. But here's the thing. Speeding is not a personal issue. It's actually a cultural issue. Every driver at some point in their lives have sped before, if even once. The only difference between our friends in the trenches and everyone else on the roads is that they did not hit their brakes fast enough. Blaming speeding as a personal responsibility and ignore the possibility to create a behavior change throughout the nation is stupid. We need to be asking, why are people speeding in the first place? How can we build our roads to discourage speeding but move traffic efficiently still? And how can we change the Guyanese road culture so that people won't want to speed altogether? Now, seeking to understand the reasons for someone's bad behavior does not mean that you condone it or that you agree with it. It means that you're thinking of how to solve it creatively. Now, if we want to solve modern problems, we need to apply modern thinking, because doing otherwise is pretty stupid. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Last night's question was, what is a major issue that is not getting attention from the government or the media? Bantu King said the DPP's dismissal of the case prematurely and the fact that the police are not investigating what happened to their own officer. I agree fully, and I'm really saddened by the fact that people aren't bringing up a big enough stink about this. I feel that at the end of the day, whether the accusations were true or not, the case must go through the courts. That is why we have a court system, that these issues must be ventilated in a court for them to decide. Oh, so you're correct about the Burnham thing. Sadly, it seems like all politicians in Guyana like to do is just repackage each other's ideas and then claim it as their own. I mean, come on, we can't even become a developed nation if we keep changing plans completely every 5 years. Guy Bryant says racism is one of the biggest issues that's not getting any attention from the government, whichever government of Ghana. Indeed, multiple governments have completely failed in that regard. Our Seaview Farm says, flooding and the destruction season after season and no mitigation system in place. I keep asking for a sandbag brigade in each region, but nothing. It's like watching the ship slowly sinking. However, Barefoot Wanderer responded that flooding creates flood shortages, which equals a famine, which equals population decrease, which equals uncertainty, which leads to depending on a one-world governing body. Also, weather can be created by man-made technologies. Yes, Barefoot, you see the writings on the wall as well. Unfortunately, many others do not. So before we get to tonight's question, you can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. Unfortunately, violent altercations between the police and citizens seems to be an international problem. But as for Guyana, I want to know what suggestions you have to try to stop this. I want you to think about that question, so in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.